Hello everyone, it's Benny, and welcome back to the Wolfenstein 3D clone tutorial. In this video, we're going to make our player and enemy shoot each other. Well, I guess the enemy's already shooting each at them, but we're going to add health to it, we're going to make them damage each other, we're going to add a game over system, and it's going to be pretty awesome. So yeah, we can actually have a firefight with our enemy coming in the very near future. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it so that whenever the player hits the left mouse button, he's going to shoot. So, well, assuming his mouse is actually focused in the game. So here's how I'm going to do that. If our mouse is not locked, then we're going to do all the mouse lock checks. Otherwise, this is where we're going to do all the shooting. And this is where things are going to get a little bit more interesting. So first off, just like before, I'm going to need my two vectors, one for line start, not state, and one for the line end, because I'm going to be casting, I'm going to be shooting a line out into space, and seeing what it lands on. And this one, which I believe I have a camera, yes, excellent. This is going to be very easy, because we have a camera. So our start position is going to be position dot, alright, I have to create a new vector 2f of it, because I don't have swizzling or anything. Camera.getPosition.getX, camera.getPos.getY. There. But now we can get a little bit more interesting with this, because our camera has a forward direction. So my vector2f cast direction can just be camera.getForward.getX, camera.get camera, okay, .getForward.getY, I guess IntelliSense isn't working with me today, that's fine, .getZ, change these to get Z, shouldn't be get Y, I'm not thinking right today, that's okay. It's going to be a new vector 2f of this, and with that, and go ahead and normalize it, because, well, otherwise, oh yeah, this way it's just, otherwise, when we multiply our cast direction by the distance, then it's going to start scaling down. Like, the closer we are shooting towards the ground, the less far it goes. Actually, that might be an interesting effect. Oh well. You can choose whether you want to normalize it or not. If you don't normalize it, then the shoot distance is going to depend on how forward you're shooting. Like, if you're shooting directly forward, you're going to shoot really far. If you're shooting, like, towards the ground, you're not going to shoot as far. So, yeah, that might be interesting. It's, again, totally up to you if you want to do something like that, but I'm not. So anyways, I'm going to create a constant, public static final float. Wonder why those aren't public. Oh well, not going to worry about it. Say shoot distance, I'm going to just set it to 1000. Just like before. And finally the line end. It's going to be line start plus cast direction times our shoot distance. And that will be, those are our two positions. We have a line start and a line end. And you know what this means now? Now we can do game.getLevel.check intersections with the start and the end. But of course it doesn't do anything yet. It just will tell us where we hit something. So how are we going to hit all the monsters? I'm going to do this the extraordinarily cheap way. I'm going to go to our level. I'm going to add a parameter to our check intersections method called, which is a boolean called hurt monsters. You see where this is going. And if we're supposed to hurt the monsters, this is where we're going to perform the damage check. So here I'm going to pass in true, and when my monster shoots, it's going to pass in, where is it? False. In both places. There's another place. Here we go. False. And this, yeah, this is my super cheap way of hurting all the monsters in the level. Actually, while I'm at it, let's remove this from here. That was temporary. And you know, right? This should be in my player input. So game.getLevel.openDoors with my camera.get position. And let's actually make sure that still works. So, gonna run. You should have seen us. Oh, now we've seen us. Okay. And we can still open doors. Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure that I didn't break anything with that. But now we're about to be able to shoot at our monster, and this is where things are going to get a little bit interesting. Why am I in the monster class? Let's go to the level class, where we're actually testing if we hurt monsters. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do something kind of similar to this, where we're going to go through every single monster in the list, and actually, yeah, we're going to eventually have a list of monsters, so while I'm at this, whoops, there's the scroll bar. While I'm at this, I'm going to just change it to an array list of monsters here. So private array list of monster called monsters. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this and add this to an array list instead. So, whoops, need to actually initialize it somewhere. Monsters is a new array list of monsters. And you know, at some point I should probably move this into the level generation method, just because, well, that's where everything should be reset, so whoops. In fact, let's go ahead and do that. Because I personally think the generate level method should handle its own initialization. Maybe that's just me. Oh, because again, there's I shouldn't say that again, but because all these things are going to change whenever we load a new level. So, yeah. Although then again, I guess it's going to change anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but still. And monster. Yeah, monsters.add a new monster with all this. And now for here, we're just going to go do a for loop for each monster. Monster in monsters. We're going to update it. So, yeah. Actually, no, I'm going to keep order. I'm going to keep the player updating before the monsters. And actually, I can just add this in front of everything, and it's going to make it work, just like I did, just like with doors. And that should work, actually. We should now be able to have multiple monsters. Well, I'm not going to have multiple monsters yet, but we should be able to. Okay, cool. Now we can actually return to the problem at hand, which is hurting the monster. If I can ever scroll back to where it is. Good lord, this class is getting too big. Yeah, the level class is basically the hub of the game. It's where everything important actually happens. Oh well. So, in order to actually implement this, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing I did with doors, which is do a gigantic check of every single one of them, and I'm going to perform a nearest intersection check with, not nearest intersection though, that's going to be something slightly different. You'll see what I mean, but I'm going to just do the same check except for monsters. So, for monster in monsters. So, I'm going to say monster.getSize here. And I can just, yeah, go ahead and rename this to monster size. Just change this to more appropriate things. So, monster pos 2f and monster pos 3f. It should be monster. Yeah, alright. There we go. This is all starting to work out. So, alright, excellent. We've got our collision vector. Now we just need the getTransform and getSize method in the monster class. So, let's go ahead and add that. So, yeah, I'll just put it right here. Why not? Public void getTransform, which will, of course, return the transform, which, oh right, it's going to return a transform, not going to be void. And now what do we need? getSize. Okay. That's still giving me an error? Oh, right, monster.getTransform. So now I need public vector2f get size, which is going to do, let's see, it's somewhere in here. Ah yes, monster width and monster length. So yeah, it's just going to return a new vector2f of that, of monster width by monster length. And that should be able to iterate through every single monster and generate a collision vector. But just like with the walls, I'm going to need to perform some form of nearest intersection check. Not quite the same though. You'll see what I mean. So I'm going to have some vector2f called nearest monster intersect, which is going to start off equal to null, and I'm going to have some private, well, just some local monster, which is called nearest monster, which is also going to be equal to null. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the same sort of check here, except with, instead of nearest intersection, nearest monster intersect. Of course, with this, I'm also going to need to update which monster is the nearest monster, so in order to do this, I'm going to perform a little if check with saying if nearest monster intersect, actually, yeah, how about this, vector2f last monster intersect. I'm going to assign this to nearest monster intersect here. And I'm going to say if these are not equal, then it's performed some sort of actual assignment. It's changed it to collision vector. Or actually I could just say if this is equal to collision vector, because it should, that's what it should change. So if that, then nearest monster becomes monster. Yeah, that works. And there. So now we've gone through every monster, we've seen if we intersected, and we found the nearest monster if we did. And here I'm going to perform a check that I did in monster, which, yeah, I did here, which is like this. I'm going to perform this check. The check to see if it's going to compare the two vectors that we have, and if, well, if the nearest monster intersect is closer than the other one, the wall intersect, then we've got a collision. So, and the one we're comparing with is nearest monster intersect with the nearest intersect, which would be the nearest intersect with a wall. So here, I'll just say we've hit the monster, why not? And I'll say nearest monster dot damage, and I'll have just a method in the player class called player.getDamage, which will return that. So cool, we've got our hurt monster system set up. Definitely not the best way of doing it, but I won't say it again. You've heard me say that too many times in the series already. Okay, got some public void get damage. Demate, no, get damage. So get damage. Wait, public int get damage. And yeah, I can go ahead and make this some sort of random system. So player is going to have its own random system, rand. Yes. And rand is going to be a new random. And it's going to have its own constants for it. Public static final float. Yeah. Int damage min. And public static final int damage max. So the min I'm going to just set to, you know, I'm just going to set them both to 30 for now, just so I know I'll have a guaranteed, actually I'll set them both to 35, just so I have a guaranteed 3-hit kill for the time being. So, it's going to return rand.nextInt, which has the max of damage max minus damage min. Actually, yeah, we'll give it some range because I think that'll crash if I do it like that. So, 33 to 37, still guaranteed 3 hits, plus damage min. There. And, excellent. We should be able to shoot the monster now. So, let's run. So, oh. I'm shooting. Yay! I wonder if I can make it a little bit more accurate than that, because I don't think that was my best shooting. It's a little hard to see what we're shooting at. Okay, there, cool, so it's working. We can indeed shoot the monster and kill it, and he will die. It is a little hard to aim when you don't have any visible point of aiming, I guess. But hey, it works. We've got... Oh yes! Almost forgot. If nearest monster is not null. It shouldn't be at this point, but just to make sure. And actually, just to be 100% sure this is working, I can do one final test. And, okay, it's not hitting until we shoot right at him. And, next up, what I want to do is I actually want to make the player have health. So, it's going to be pretty much what I have of the monster. In fact, I'm going to steal some constants from here, because it's just a little bit easier like that. I'm going to steal the max health constant. And of course, in the initialization, I'm going to set the max, or this .health to that. Suppose I don't need this, but why? Okay, I'll remove it to be consistent, but yeah. And just like with the monster, I'm going to have a damage method, which I'm also going to steal from the monster. So yeah, they're very similar. I would put something in the notes about this, but I already mentioned how we need a better way of sharing things between different classes with similar constructs. So let's see. First off, we don't care about the ridiculous state thing. Secondly, I want to do an additional check here. If health is somehow greater than 100, then max health, then I just want to reset health to max health. That way the player can't do something sneaky and hack himself to well over 100,000 health or something ridiculous like that. At least that's the idea. Now if health is less than or equal to 0, well, then we're going to get a game over. So here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to my game, and I'm going to have some private boolean called isRunning. And this is going to just be initialized to true. It's going to be true as long as the game's running. And I'm only going to perform updates and rendering if the game is running. You see where I'm going with this? So, that way, I can have... Alright, private static boolean is running. So that way, I can have some a public static method called, set is running. I'll put it below here, actually. Which is going to take in some boolean value. Dagnabbit, boolean value. And it's going to just set is running to that value. So, is running equals value. Whoops, public static void. I'm just making mistakes all over the place with this for some reason. But that's okay, because now it is done. We have is running set to a value, which is precisely what I'm going for. Why? Because, simple. When health is less than 0, I can just do game.setIsRunning to false. So now when we're dead, it's just gonna stop the game. Except for input. That way the player can, input events shouldn't affect the game anyways, but this way the player can unlock his mouse and exit or do whatever. And, yeah, while I'm here, let's print out a message. Let's show the player how much they failed. You just died. Game over. And yeah, that's good enough. You can make a more elaborate message if you want, but I'm okay with that. And yeah, that's good. That's good. Oh, actually, one more thing. While I'm here, I just want to print out what my health is. So that way... Oh. I'll actually do it right here. Just, after I make the adjustments. So this way the player just have some way... Since we don't have any way of actually displaying text, that just gives the player a way to, see what his health is. And actually, let's add that to the notes, if I actually have the notes open, which I do not. So, we're going to have to go through them the hard way. So, let's see. It would be under here, to old files. No? Yes? Yes, it would be here. It's under... I know it's under some ridiculous folder system. No, it's not here. What am I doing? No, it is under old files somewhere. It's under notes somewhere. Under Wolf3D notes. There we go. I knew I'd get to it eventually. So yeah, this is what I'm looking for. And yeah, we need some way to actually display text to our player, because come on, that's fundamental. We need some way to display text. And I'll minimize that so I don't need to dig through that again. And cool. But now all I need to do to actually have a firefight with the monster is go right here to where we've shot the player. And yeah, I can go ahead and get rid of this now. Right here, I can just do game.getLevel. Wait. Wait, hang on a second. How do I get the player if I can't get it from the level? Okay, player intersect vector is doing this. Oh, I never needed it. Okay. Well, fair enough then. I'll just go in here. I'll go to, sure, right here. Do public. Should probably put it with all the whatever. I'll put it right here. Public player. Get player. You know what? Yeah. Okay. Fine. No. Okay, fine. I'll make a public void damage player, which takes in some int amount. Just because... Well, because... That way I don't need to just give him access to everything about the player, because this is all I care about, just damaging the player. And this will just do player.damage by the amount. There. And now I can just call damage player... Ooh! But I actually need some damage amount. So this is interesting. You know, while I'm at it, let's set the damage values to their actual values. I'm going to have the player do between 20 and 60 damage. And I'm going to copy this, by the way. If I don't already have it. I don't. And I'm going to make the enemy do between 5 and 30. Not exactly fair. Not by a long shot. But oh well. So... yeah, and we're going to do the exact same check we did in the player with the get damage. So this, wherever it is, here it is, by this amount. So that should give us a value in the range, because of course if I subtract the max from the min, that gives me the range, which is what I want. If I add the minimum to it, well, that puts it back, you know, in the space. You should know, hopefully you know how that works. Don't think I should need to explain that. So, oh, I still have an error somewhere. Oh, I think I know where. No? Oh! Well, let's see. We've seen the player? Ooh. And we can kill the monster, of course. Actually, I'm going to disable the FPS counter, wherever it is. Yeah. Just because I know I'm getting a smooth frame rate, let's be honest, at this point. And, well, I want to be able to more clearly see... Well, oh! He's taking us down. I want to see him actually kill me. If he can. Oh! We just died. Game over. That's great. So cool, we've got our big fancy interchange. Wonderful. Fantastic. I can't have enough good things to say about this. This is great, because you know what this means. Viewers, we're almost done with monsters. We've got it fully programmed, all the logic's working. We've got our players' shooting logic fully working. We can shoot the monsters. We can run through levels. We can open doors. We can do almost everything. The game is finally starting to come to a close. We are almost done with this thing. Well, we're still going to have a few more videos. It's probably going to enter somewhere around video 20, but yeah, we're almost done. In the next video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be implementing animation for the monster, and we're going to be putting monsters on the map. And then in the video after that, we're probably going to be making it so you can go to more levels, and then we'll probably be done. Yeah, we're really closing in on the end for here. So, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned, and see you next time.